The last Group 1 of the season is at Sha Tin on Sunday. On the A course, 10 races. Welcome to the race by race preview. Tom Wood is here to pass on the selections for the day. And we get things underway at 12:45 with a Griffin race, and Thunder Blink, he won on debut. Plenty of them step up from the 1,000 to the 1,200. In fact, all of them that have raced are running over the 1,200 metres for the first time. La Forza won at his second start. We've got California Moxie, who's been beaten 2 3/4 at both these outings. Meaningful Dragon and Santorini have the cheek pieces on. Concord Star wears a tongue tie for the first time. And the big improver between the first two races was Run Yes Run, 5th, and then ended up running second last time. The speed map, Tom, has Concord Star, the 9-horse, leading.
Yeah, he led up over a shorter distance at his debut, and from a low draw, no doubt he can roll forward again. Run Yes Run has got some pace. He's been prominent in both of his runs to date. La Forza should get a nice run through in the trail. World Hero is a newcomer. He's got some pace, but he is drawn very awkwardly here, and you've got two other newcomers in the race as well. Smart Zipang and Etalon Or, who are likely to maybe endure a wide passage from their draws back in the field.
The first Griffin race of the season, won by Thunder Blink. La Forza went out a short-priced favourite in this. Thunder Blink ran him down. Run Yes Run faded to run 5th, and California Moxie ran on. How do you place Thunder Blink at his second start?
Yeah, I think he's in with a good shout here again. Mark, he's drawn barrier at number 5. Obviously, him and also in the race, La Forza are both the winners. La Forza won at his second start. We'll see that in a few moments. But he did a good job here. Thunder Blink, he was sort of behind the speed. He got into the clear at about the 400 metres. He was just half a stride slow out in his most recent barrier trial, but there wasn't really too much pressure put on him at all. So, look, I think he can go well here again. I still think La Forza with a slightly better weight advantage here, 128 versus 121, can beat him here with the draw as well.
All right, he's been back to the trials, has Thunder Blink. Since then, La Forza has raced and won. Santorini, he's gone 2 consistent races. He's run 3rd at both starts, and Run Yes Run much better at his second outing.
Yeah, he was certainly much better. Certainly was Run Yes Run. They're opting to change some gear around here with Santorini. The cheek pieces are going on for the first time. He jumped a bit awkwardly last start, and he looked to be under the pump here a bit, coming sort of past the 350 or so, but he was able to stay on for 3rd placing. He's obviously got 126 to carry here, but maybe the step up and trip likely to benefit him, as well as a good draw for barrier number 1. So he should get a nice trip in the transit. Run Yes Run, he goes into the mix as well. He improved certainly from start 1 to start 2, and I think there's further improvement to come.
And the unraced brigade, have they done enough to pique your interest? Smart Zipang, he has had the 4 trials. Etalon Or has had 4, and Patch of Cosmo, he's had a couple of trials.
Yeah, he has, and look, the one I'm taking out of here probably would be Patch of Cosmo, who's trained by Manfred Mann, Luke Ferraris. He settled back in this trial. It's a first for the sire here in Hong Kong Super Set. You can see he's pushed out a little bit here. Etalon Or, barrier 14, may have had him a little bit sort of higher in the order had he drawn a gate, because I thought he'd trialled okay. You can see Smart Zipang doing his best work late, but probably does need to improve a little on his trials so far.
That's the breakdown for the Griffins. Who do you like to win the opening race?
Smart Zipang, I haven't got him in, but I've certainly got on top La Forza. Number 2 for Jamie Richards and Zach Purton from barrier number 2. I think he should get a nice run in transit and be able to strike. I've gone with the 2 winners in the race. Thunder Blink won't be far away. Santorini's run 3rd in his first 2. I think he can improve, especially with a gear change up and trip as well. And Run Yes Run will keep him safe as well, the way he's gone for Matthew Chadwick and Michael Chang. But La Forza and I think Thunder Blink, the 2 winners out of the Griffin races to fight it out.
And that is the preview for the first on Sunday, the Griffins at 12:45. From the Griffins on to the Class 5 in race number 2, and the distance of this race is 1,600 metres. We've got Lady Billy on the class drop at the top, as is Looking Cool, the 3-horse. Visor off, blinkers go on. Aromatica has his first look at Sha Tin. Medical Elite's placed at the trip, but best form is over at Happy Valley, as it is for Right Honourable. Speedstar with a better draw. Smart Beauty was a winner 4 starts ago. That was his last look at Sha Tin. He's got £7 more on his back for that win. And Star of Glory is a two-time winner course and distance. Brother Pearl has the cheek pieces off down the bottom. He's drawn to lead from the two-gate Star of Glory, Tom.
And he should be able to here with that low draw. Fox Underway might come across from his wide store. Speedstar can take advantage of a better draw this time round. Looking cool, he's got the blinkers going on. Horses like Smart Beauty are normally ridden best when they're ridden a little more patiently. However, he has found some trouble recently. Lady Billy, her first time in Class 5, she'll be back, no doubt.
We have Joyful Friendship in our first replay running fourth. He's down there on the rail as we pick up the replay. Just his second run in Class 5 upcoming in race number 2. Fourth behind Master of All in this race. Master of All has been in very good form. And would you prefer Right Honourable back at Happy Valley?
Yeah, definitely. That's where he seems to do his best racing. Right Honourable for Mark Newton now. His trainer, he's only had the one win from 14 goes at Sha Tin. I've certainly got Joyful Friendship and a couple of better runs from him recently. You can see he got into a little bit of trouble down on the inside with about 100 metres or so to go, but he was still powering on through the line late, so I thought he was definitely not the worst here in Class 5 again.
Smart Beauty returns to the scene of his best form, which was 4 back, but more recently has been around at Happy Valley against Medical Elite, who will also go back to Happy Valley on Wednesday night. In fact, Sha Tin on Wednesday night. So a busy time for him. Medical Elite, he's in this replay with Smart Beauty and Speedstar.
Yeah, Speedstar making ground down the outside. Just after straightening for the run home, you would have seen that Smart Beauty was just on the back of runners there and had to get into the clear, but he stayed on well. Medical Elite right in there as well. He's yet to win here at Sha Tin on the turf, so I think he's probably worth another chance here if you like him for exotics, but Smart Beauty definitely in.
Looking Cool has been out of form, Tom, but he comes into Class 5 for the first time. Is that enough to get him back, if not on the winners list, certainly some minor money?
Well, if he was at his absolute best when he's won off 50 in the past, he'd be winning this. Whether that's the case at the moment, but he's down into this grade for the first time. Blinkers are on, the visor is off. Karis Teton, he's only won 2 races in Hong Kong, this horse, and Karis has been on board for both, so I'd be keeping a close eye on him in this race.
Does he sneak into your top 4?
He certainly does. The Frankie Law trained runner Looking Cool. In the end, it went with number 10 down towards the bottom here, and that is Smart Beauty, ridden patiently, hopefully for Zach Purton, finding clear air at the right time. Speedstar with the draw has to be right in this. He is trained by David Hall. He's won off 40 in the past. He's off 34. Looking Cool and Joyful Friendship. 10, 9, 3 and 2.
Tom going an early Zach Purton double with La Forza in the first into Smart Beauty in race number 2. Race number 3, we step it up in trip to the 2,000 metres for the running of the Class 3 with Natural Storm at the top of the book, coming out of the Queen Mother Memorial at Group 3 company last time. Winning Dragon has the blinkers and the hood off, the visor going on. Packing Hurricane's a 3-time course and distance winner. Holy Lake looking for 3 in a row. We've got Illuminous placed over the 2,000 2 starts ago. Semirkand has his first run at the trip. He did run over 2,050 and ran in the minor money at Maui before he arrived. And 18 Carat has the blinkers coming off, and he's going to lead, Tom, as we saw from him 2 starts ago over the 2,000 metres.
He's a fairly reliable leader as 18 Carat. Bourbonaire shouldn't be too far away, you'd think, in the run. Winning Dragon, he's an on-pace runner, but there is a bit of alternate speed sort of under him, and he doesn't perform overly well here at Sha Tin, so we'll see what he can do. Semirkand is another one that could get caught wide. He was trapped wide on the all-weather last time out. Illuminous likely to go back with Always Fluke, who was actually better last time out, Always Fluke, but 18 Carat, the reliable leader here.
Nick is along for the first part of race number 3 to have a talk to the trainer of Illuminous, Frankie Law.
Frankie, Illuminous is quite an interesting horse on Sunday's card in race 3. He's trying plenty of distances. You bring him back to 2,000.
Yes, I think from 16 to 2,000, I think he's still okay. You can see usually he jump okay, and then he a bit slow, not that quick enough to follow the pace. And then I think maybe 2,000 may be better for him at this moment. Yeah.
His run last time, I mean, he seemingly was a fair way back, made up a lot of ground, but he did it quite stylishly. So I guess the extra distance is perhaps what he wants at this stage.
Yes. Also, this time I try set to see maybe I try to ask that if he can get a little bit forward, should be better. Maybe midfield. Yeah.
Has Zach ridden him in track work? And if he has, what's been his feedback?
Yeah, he's a very quiet horse, easy to ride, and usually he hasn't ride the horse in the race, so he only can say quiet, and then his form's good.
What type of horse is he sort of to train and deal with, Frank? I mean, he's not very big, is he, this horse? He's quite small in regards to sort of size and weight, but is he an easy horse to train?
Yeah. He only around 1,000 pounds, but he's quiet, and then everything's fine. He's not crazy horse, so it's good. Yeah, easy to ride. Yeah.
It's not an easy race by any stretch. These races on the big days never are. I mean, the likes of Holy Lake in there has been in pretty good form, some other decent types. But you'd be pretty confident that your horse could win this, I suppose, given what he's shown so far.
A try, yeah. Because only this distance 2,000. So and then this race I think is 85 to 60. Yeah, and he don't need to carry big weight, so I think it should be suitable for him. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously we talk of changing the trips with him. He has actually run over this trip, and he did run well.
Yeah. He raced once already. Yeah, finished third. I think should be a race good for him. Yeah.
Yep, an extended rating 85 to 60. Frankie bang on there for this Class 3. Tom, we move on to Bourbonnaire. Now, his winning form is on a wet track, but his last two have actually been better. One on a good track and one on a good de firm. He's run fourth and then this third last time.
Well, this was about the time last year that he was able to strike Bourbonnaire 351 days ago for a rating of 89. So he's below that at the moment. You can see he was just on the back of Flaming Rabbit sort of until the 300 metres, and then switched down to the inside and stayed on well here behind Chang Cheng Glory. So I give him a shout here, especially if there's a bit of moisture around. Hugh Bowman riding for John Size. He's just down on his peak rating at the moment, so definitely don't think he's the worst, and it's this time of the year that's a good time to catch Bourbonnaire.
That is a Bourbonnaire. This is Happy Valley. Tom, Winning Dragon has been racing well around the valley more often than not lately. Awesome fluke. Second run for Ricky Yu this week, and Bravehearts finishes down the track after a tough run. You taking any of these three?
Can't have Winning Dragon here at Sha Tin. 0 from 6. Blinkers off, hood off, visor going on. He had every chance here behind Flamingo Trillion last time out. Briefly entertained, always fluke, but want to see him do it again. He was definitely better here last time out. He's not been in the Ricky Yu stable for long, and Braveheart's a little hard to have in what he's done at the moment.
Does Illuminous beat Holy Lake this week?
No, I think Holy Lake can get him again here. Holy Lake, he's coming into this in pretty good form for Francis Loy and Vincent Ho. Now, last start he was only up £2. This time he's only up £3. I think he's still got points in hand here. And he had a beautiful trip, one back, one out. I think he can strike again over Illuminous. Packing Hurricane's got a great record course and a distance, and Bourbonnaire is in as well. But he's only got £3 extra to carry here. Does Holy Lake, and I think he can win again.
He's race 3, number 5 for Tom to win the first leg of the early treble. Race number 4, and this race has an unbeaten horse at the top of the book who won on debut, and that is Bottom Up Together. Carries an extra £9 for the victory. Multi Super ran second to him. He was a winner 2 starts ago, course and distance. Metro Warriors won 4 down the straight. Red Elegance has placed his last 2. The 5 and the 7 are on debut, as is the 6 in between them. Ragnar's now with David Hall. Crossover Noseband is on. Tongue Tie is off. Flying Dragons placed 6 from 13 down the Sha Tin straight. Prosecco won 2 starts ago, and Molly's Witness. The Pacifier's off and the Cheek Piece is on, and there's a very easy leader for the speed map man here, Tom.
Super Axiom, he wouldn't have had to work hard to get this one on the sheet. Super Axiom, Red Elegance close up with Metro Warrior. Aurora Lady is a newcomer. He'll be probably just positioned in front of Bottom Up Together, who came from probably just off midfield when winning at his debut. My Wish towards the grandstand rail is drawn up high. Flying Dragon, Prosecco were back. Flying Dragon was actually a little bit unlucky down the straight last time out, I thought.
Bottom Up Together, he cracked it for a debut win. His trainer is Frankie Law.
Frankie Law, a big day of racing coming up on the weekend, of course, the Group 1 Champion and Chater Cup. You've got some really nice runners on the undercard. Race 4, Bottom Up Together. He got the job done on debut. I know he trialled really well, but you must have been pleased with the way he won his race.
Yes. Usually he trialled 3 times, trialled really good, so that's why I think at that day I have confidence he will run good, yeah.
I mean, you must have been quite confident. I mean, his jockey, Zach, looked pretty confident throughout the race as well. Just analyse the race for us. I mean, he jumped okay, but then he was very quick to sort of travel up strongly, wasn't he?
Yes, he said he jumped not that good because he said inside the gate, maybe he go in a little bit too early. He start to play inside the gate, so he jumped a little bit slow, but anyway, he can, after jump, he can just quick to go to the, I think, midfield, yeah.
Has he always shown you that in his track work and his trials as well, that he does have that nice way of going, doesn't he?
Yeah. In the morning, he's a bit lazy. He's not that look like can win the 1,000. But anyway, later on, I think he will step to a little bit further distance. Yeah.
It's obviously going to be a little bit more demanding for him now. He's got to carry the 135. He's got gate 3, but on the 1,000-metre course, always you sort of want to be high. Any concerns there potentially?
The draw, I think, is still okay, but only thing about because 135, he need to carry. But anyway, we need to try.
What about him going forward, Frankie? I mean, he clearly looks like he's got plenty of ability. I mean, you're keeping him to 1,000 for now. Is he the type of horse that you certainly would think would get that little bit further in due course?
I think so. After this one, if I still want him again, maybe I just go a little bit further, maybe 1,200, yeah.
Frankie there talking about bottom up together with Nick. We move on, Tom, to a horse that loves the 1,000 metres at Sha Tin. It's Metro Warrior. Last start winner, Derek Long rides for David Hayes and carries an extra £6 for this victory.
He does. He's 42 days between runs, and here he is up near the pace, and this is what he normally sort of does, and was able to just hold on a terrific three-way photo. He's been back to the trials. He's had a trial up at Chung Fa. He ran 6th in that, but when he sort of gets up to these higher ratings as well, he can tend to struggle a bit. He's not getting any younger either. He's a 7-year-old, but seemingly racing well.
There's plenty of money for him more often than not. Metro Warrior quite often lights up green. My Wish on debut. There he is running 4th, turning for home. He's had 3 trials. Luke Ferraris and Mark Newnham, they combine. And he's drawn barrier 13.
Yeah, so he's drawn high here, so up towards the grandstand rail. It's the A course, so there'll be a false rail on Sunday. And we didn't see in the vision here, but at the start he did stumble at the start and recovered to be about midfield. He's had 3 trials in total, a first, a third at Happy Valley, and this most recent 4th, of course, behind Beauty Waves, who was beaten into a 2nd placing on Wednesday night at Happy Valley. He won a trial by 4.3 lengths in Australia, so I think there's some ability there with him.
Aurora Lady, Tom is out of the Pierrong stable. Brenton Avdallah takes the ride. What we don't see in this trial is Brenton nearly came off at the start. He has jumped awkwardly a couple of times, certainly in this trial too.
Yeah, he certainly did jump really awkwardly here. He was trained by Brett Kavanagh in Australia prior to arriving, where he was a little bit slow out in the trial there and finished 2nd under a hold, and seemed to do enough here in his trials. He's had, 7 in total, all up at Chung Fa as well. So we'll see what he can do. He's drawn in barrier number 5. Just happy to watch him. He's won his last 2 trials, so he has kept on improving. He beat Mastermind in that trial there.
Yeah, Mastermind runs on the same program. His circuit victory up against the outside rail. He's had the 5 trials. Matthew Poon, Manfred Mann. That horse to the 3 in from the outside fence in the yellow cap just happens to be Voyage Bubble.
It does, who's in Japan at the moment, and he was he began well enough. He was up near the pace here, just behind the pace, and stayed on, I thought, well under a little bit of a drive there late. He's had a left hind tibial stress injury. He came through the ISG sale for $3.2 million, and I'm happy to watch him here at his first up assignment.
That is a look at the runners in race number 4, and you've got one to beat the bottom here.
I have got one to beat the bottom, and that, of course, is the Mark Newnham trained My Wish. I just thought with a lighter weight here, he could do something off his trials. Bottom up together's got a further £9 to carry, so top weight's going to make it more difficult for him, but he was impressive on debut. One we haven't spoken about was Winning Money. He's £9 better off with the bottom up together, and he stayed on well on the far side, only beaten 3 lengths last start. And Multi Super in as well, a winner 2 starts ago, 2nd to bottom up together, obviously £7 better off there. 7, 1, 9 and 2.
That is the preview for race number 4. It is the first leg of Sunday's Triple Trio. Class 4 1200 is race number 5, and here is the runners with Devano. He's at the top of the book carrying £135, but he draws a gate this week. Partiz on the class drop. Embraces was beaten a neck on debut by Mega Bonus across at Happy Valley. We've got Dragon Joy having his first start. Mastermind is first up from February. Yuan Long Elite has had 3 trials. Super Charizard has the pacifiers going on. California Icon has the visors off. And Gangnam Star has won a trial at Chung Fa since we last saw him. Devano and Yuan Long Elite up the front here, Tom.
Yeah, Devano led all the way when, of course, he won on debut, but wasn't able to, or didn't lead last time out. But from the inside draw, he can certainly hold the rail in the lead this time round. So could be joined by Yuan Long Elite, who's shown some good pace in his trials. Ballistic Win has some early pace, but Barrier Manners can be a bit iffy with him. Dragon Joy, a debutant who's drawn wide, and he's got speed underneath him, so could potentially be a little awkward for Dragon Joy. Circuit Maximus there as well. He's also got a tricky draw for this assignment.
Here is Devano. His price on debut when he won was 20 to 1. He started favourite here and ran third behind Lucy in the Sky. Glory Elite, who runs second in this race, came out and whacked them last weekend.
He did, he certainly did. So the top two in this race really cleared out here. Devano was a 5-length third placing in this race, so we know the form out of it has stacked up. His debut win off the front was very good, so hopefully they're really positive with him. Zach Purton from Barrier 1, and he can lead to this. Zach Purton's been on board in a recent Barrier trial as well, in which he ran third. He was just slightly slow away last time out, and then ended up sort of just better than midfield, and was no match for the top two in the end.
And that trial third behind California Totality, who runs later in the program. Embraces, Tom, this was over at Happy Valley back on the 1st of May. He's been up to Chung Fa since and had a quiet trial. Ran 5th behind Capital Legend, was under a good hold.
And there was some market support for him first up. He's a son of a reliable man, so 1,200 metres had a sort of a few question marks about it for him first up, but he really handled it well and closed off strongly behind Mega Bonus, who was well placed here, and liked the way he attacked the line. I think the big open spaces of Sha Tin, decent long straight 400 metres should really assist him here this time round.
It's a good report for Embraces. Off to Chung Fa we go now, and Mastermind. He's had 2 starts and he's run a third and then down the track last time. Draws barrier number 2 for his racetrack resumption.
First up for 104 days, bled from both nostrils after racing last start behind Partia. He was slow away that day as well. Now, he was away fairly in this barrier trial. You can see pushed a little bit to stay on here in this trial, but it wasn't too bad, so I'd be wanting to keep him safe here, because obviously he was at 1.6 last time out, but you just got to worry about those internal issues. But they do say first time fresh up, good time to catch a bleeder, so he's got to be kept safe here.
2 trials into him before Sunday's race. Yuan Long Elite makes his debut. He's showing some pace in the trials too, leading all of the way to beat a horse called Fast Network, who trialled at Chung Fa on Friday morning and won that trial with the ears pricked.
Yeah, he looks all right, does Fast Network, and this horse here was up on the pace. He's a son of Grunt. He jumped well and kicked nicely when asked, through on the inside there. Now, in his trial where he ran second, he was second to Beauty Waves, and the trial that he won, his first trial here in Hong Kong, second in that trial, was Lucy in the Sky. So there's a fair bit of trial form around him. He trialled in NZ as well and looked okay there. So he's definitely in.
He's a member of the Manfred Man stable. Whereabouts in the top 4 does he sit?
He is down in 4th. I went with number 1 in the end, right at the top though, with Devano. I think if he can lead to here and get a good lead in transit, it'll be tough to run down if he can kick strongly in the straight. Devano. Mastermind is in. Embraces makes it in off his good debut. Really like the way he found the line at the end, and Yuan Long Elite off his trials. But 1, 7, 4 and 8 for race number 5.
It is Devano, race 5, number 1, to take the first leg of the 6-up. Race number 6 now. This is a Class 4 over the 1,400 metres, and as Chateau Neuf at the top of the book steps up in trip for the first time. Sea Legend is on the class drop. Always fluke-covered ground over the 1,400 last start at Sha Tin. Storming Dragon has the cheek pieces going on. Circuit Mighty is a 3-time course and distance winner. Game Player Warrior comes back in trip. Invincible Missile goes from the 1,650 back to the 1,400 metres. And Joyful Life is minus the blinkers. Tom, the pace comes from Joyful Life. Sea Air, Circuit Mighty. Wind Speed has led up in a trial previously also. Yeah,
Joyful Life, he led last start. He should be able to cross from his draw and get the rail. Circuit Mighty has a good draw, so he won't be far away either. Sea Air Legend, he's on the downgrade here. You've got Top Peak, who could endure a little bit of a tough run in transit. Storming Dragon, he's also on that 3 wide line. We know where Invincible Missile will be, and that's normally always at the back because he's normally slow out from the gates.
Yep, he most certainly is. Happy Valley is where we start though, and Chateau Neuf is near enough to last turning for home, and he's got wind speed 11 through trial well leading into the race. He disappointed. Ever Smart also. However, New Power wins the race, won since, and Lead Master went around at minute odds and was able to score on Wednesday night too.
Yeah,
Form is good.
On the leader-dominated track Wednesday night, that pair. So I think he's got to go in for sure. Chateau Nerf, I thought he was probably one of the almost better bets on the program. The way he found the line there, up to 1,400 metres should really suit him. Of course, he was impressive when winning on debut, just hasn't quite gone on with it. But so that was a good run considering the circumstances.
Good report for Chateau Nerf. Storming Dragon is our next replay. Top Peak, he's been on the improve. Ends up running fourth here, but Storming Dragon, 2 starts, a third behind Phoenix Light on debut, and then there's second behind Beauty Glory. Cheek pieces on, Zach Pert and Jamie Richards, but does draw 14.
Yeah, that's the negative. I've been with him his first 2 runs, but barrier 14 sort of turned me off a little bit with him this time in terms of putting him in the top spot, but still ran well here. I thought pretty much had every chance given the run he had. Cheek pieces going on. The other one in this Top Peak sort of was one back, one out, may have been a bit keen and just sort of ground away over the final stages. Storming Dragon goes, and he would have been probably on top had he not drawn wide.
All right, so it'll be Chateau Nerf and Storming Dragon, the 2 for Tom, which means we're playing minors around any of these. Always Fluke, Beauty Alliance 6th, and Forerunner. He's very wide turning for home. He ends up running 4th in this race. It's Antoine Hamlin on board him, and he has won course and distance.
He's had a bad run of draws, so now has Forerunner. He's had double figures 3 of his last 4 starts now, and he raced wide beyond midfield here. Still like the way he attacked the line here, and he's at this point starting to run past Always Fluke, who's done little since winning off a rating of 49. He's off 53 at the moment. He actually had an excuse here, though. He was wide with no colour. I thought maybe Beauty Alliance could improve from his first up run. He was 43 to 1, drawn barrier 12 for this assignment. He had 7 here. He's a bit slow out, but I thought the trial wasn't too bad, so it could be an improver at odds despite the wide draw.
That is a breakdown of runners in race number 6, but is it 1 to beat 4?
It is 1 to beat 4 here, Mark, for race number 6 on the program. Chateau Nerf off that last start effort at Happy Valley, up to 1,400 metres for David Hayes, Hugh Bowman and Storming Dragon to fight it out. 4 runners in for a minor spot for Antoine Hamlin and Cody Moe, and another one drawn awkwardly, Beauty Alliance, but I think he could improve off his first run for John Size. 1, 4, 9 and 5.
And the battle of the promising 3-year-old Chateau Nerf to beat Storming Dragon for Tom in race number 6. The feature race is race number 7, the running of the Group 1 Standard Chartered Champions and Chaser Cup over the 2,400 metres, and Rebels Romance for Charlie Appleby and also William Buick at the top of the book. Straight Aaron was a Group 3 winner in the Queen Mother Memorial over 2,400 metres. 5G Patch ran second in this year's Queen Mother Memorial to race rival Last City Blanche. Between them, Russian Emperor's looking to make it 3 champions and Chaiters in a row. Senor Toba has the blinkers off. Moments in Time lit up last time, and of course Massive Sovereign also in this race, the Derby winner, Tom, but it's Moments in Time leading from Rebels Romance.
Well, he set up quite a frantic tempo through the early stages last time out, Moments in Time with Car Ying Generations, so they'll be hoping he can be rated a little better in front this time round. Moments in Time. Rebels Romance, he can lead but doesn't necessarily have to lead, so he might just sit behind the pace here and watch it unfold in front of him. Straight Aaron, La City Blanche, 5G Patch likely to go back. Russian Emperor to settle just towards the end of the field as well. But Moments in Time to lead, but Rebels Romance I don't think will be far away.
Let's talk more about Rebels Romance now, Tom, and head to Dubai and the Longines Dubai Shima Classic. And this was an absolutely star-studded field this night, and he beats Sharia. Liberty Islands in the race. It was just full of quality.
Yeah, so many good horses in this race over in the UAE, and he stalked the pace. He sat second in the run, sort of peeled out at the 450 and put them well and truly beyond doubt. Some quality Japanese horses he beat here as well, and I think he's going to be far too strong for them here. If he runs up to his peak performance here, which that definitely was one of them, he should really run away with this.
He's a noted traveller, Tom. Here he is winning in Qatar at Doha in the Emir Trophy. Russian Emperors in this race, but he's also won in the UK, Germany and the USA just for good measure.
Yeah, and he set up a good tempo in this race as well over the 2,400 metres in the Emir Trophy, and what they ran about 2:24 for this, and again beat home a wayward Japanese runner out wider. But this was one of the days he led up and just kicked right away over the final stages, ran them along at a good tempo, and that's the type of horse he is, and that's what he can do.
He absolutely destroyed them into that headwind down the straight that day. Locally, we head back now to the Queen Mother Memorial. We saw Russian Emperor, of course, in that replay finish down the track behind Rebels Romance. He drops a lot in weight, which means La City Blanche and 5G Patch go up in weight for their first and second placings in this Group 3.
Yeah, 11 pounds for La City Blanche, and also at Moments in Time here, who was up on the pace, setting the tempo up, and a lot of the sectionals in this race, as you can see there on screen, were inside standard, particularly up the side for the first time, 2,000 through to the mile, 1.39 seconds below standard, and then for the run home they sort of tired after that. That was a bit of a slog up the straight, but they were still over a second and a half inside standard, and that really did set up for horses like La City Blanche and also with 5G Patch. I think La City Blanche is going to find it tougher this time round. 5G Patch has run well in this race in the past, and obviously Russian Emperor had the big impulse there of 135 pounds, so he can bounce back here.
And he did pull up lame after the race too, did Russian Emperor. Tuesday morning saw Straight Aaron head out at the Sha Tin trials in rainy conditions. Vincent wasn't too keen to get dirty on Straight Aaron. It was over 1,200 metres, just a quiet trial, and he sat wide on the track.
He did. He's run fourth in this race, and he had excuses last time out. He got involved in a bit of an incident near the 1,400 with Massive Sovereign, and he never really ran on or just got involved after that. He was beaten 22 lengths, so he needs to really turn that around. But this is an appropriate trip that he can do that Straight Aaron for Vincent Ho and Casper Found. So drawn barrier 2, he should just about get the run of the race, one would think.
One more horse to focus on. It's Massive Sovereign. Nick with his rider, Zach Person.
For me, the question mark really is going to be the weather, right? It looks a little bit grubby leading up to race day, so we're just going to hope that we can get on a dry track and, just see where he's at, because that last run was a little bit perplexing. Obviously, he'd had a run overseas on soft ground and been disappointing, and that was sort of a little bit the same in the QE2. So I just want to get him onto a dry track and just be able to assess him properly against some better class horses. And albeit it's a fairly thin race outside of Rebels Romance, but it'll still be a chance to see where we're at against the older horses.
Just going back to last time, of course, obviously you mentioned that there was obviously that disappointment naturally. Given that he had underperformed, the ground was what it was. Does that mean that you and Dennis have sort of come away with some sort of answers, do you think?
Well, we've come away with questions, was it the track, was it the class of race, did the Derby run take everything out of him? It's just really hard to answer those questions until we get back onto a firmer surface. So the horse is working well, he's galloped good, we're happy with him. We're just looking forward to hopefully getting onto a firm surface.
And what about the trip with him? I mean, again, total unknown, we don't know until we try, but does he ride like a horse you think will stretch out over that little bit extra?
So it's a question mark. He's a lovely relaxed horse. He's going to give himself every chance to run it. Whether he can run it, we're going to find out. It was either go here or go back to the 1800, and the owner preferred to run here, and I suppose by running here we get to answer the question for December. Is he going to be better suited running in the 2000 or the 2400? He might be even better at this distance, but it's not really a question I can answer at the moment. We're going to find out.
Yeah, pedigree would suggest that he could well do. Small field, 2,400 metres, not a distance where we have too much exposure to throughout the course of the season. I guess just thinking about it and looking ahead to it, it could well be a little tactical affair, couldn't it?
Yeah, I think the favourite drawing out is good for him, because he's just not going to get into any hustle and bustle early. He'll just roll forward as comfortable as he can and take up a prominent position. And, there are a few horses in this that like to settle back, and, at this distance you don't want to be bustling horses out of the gates to take handier positions when, there's stayers that like to get into their rhythm. So I think every horse is going to fall into the spot that's comfortable for them, and then it's just a matter of the tempo of the race, how the track is playing on the day, the track condition itself, and whether we're any chance of being able to compete against the favourite at the ratings. We're a long way out of it on ratings. He's got a lot on us, so it's a horse race, anything can happen, and we're in it, so we have a chance.
And that is Zach talking about Massive Sovereign. Tom, Selection time. Is it Rebels Romance?
It's definitely Rebels Romance. Marquis, the horse to beat on all the figures here for Charlie Appleby and William Buick. Rebels Romance. 5G Patches in for a second. I think he can run a race here. Russian Emperor in for a third. He's bidding to win this race for a third time, but I think there's a couple better here this time round. And Straight Aaron as well. He'll go in from the draw for Vincent Ho and Casper Founds, but I think it's all Rebels Romance here.
The Godolphin Blue to be victorious and take the last Group 1 of the season, the Champions and Chater, race number 7. Viva Pitaka Handicap, race number 8, and they line up this way. Class 4 over the 1600, Bright Inheritance is on the class drop. California Totality went berserk in the gates on the 20th of April and was scratched after getting cast. He's trialled well since. Talent's Ambition is on the class drop, as is Smiling Time. Mr. Dapper won off a rating of 51, and that was over the 1600. He runs off 54. Circuit Fiery up in trip. Soaring Broncos raced wide his last 2. Absolute Sunshine cheek pieces off, and the tongue tie goes on. Chili Barber's finally got a better draw. He's been drawing very, very wide of late. No wide trip for Soaring Bronco this week, Tom.
No, he had a terrible run last time out. There's a few in this that can go forward. He's one of them. California Totality's another. Circuit Fiery can race handy. Mr. Dapper can also race handy. And Northern Beast is another one that does like to race in the front half of the field. You've got a few horses that do go back as well. The likes of Absolute Sunshine. Good. Talent's Ambition probably has to go back from his wide draw in this race.
First replay is Mr. Dapper, Good and Chili Barber. Chili Barber wide around the home turn. Mr. Dapper stays on for second. Good did finish closer in this race. He's had the 3 starts, beaten 3 3/4, 6 3/4, and just 2 1/4 from the winner in this race over the 1600.
He raced a lot handier last start. 2 did Good, but that was courtesy of a good draw. He's not got a good draw this time round, and he really held his ground quite okay, I thought, here last time out. Mr. Dapper was just run down by one better on the day. That was Aestheticism, so it was a decent effort from him. And you see Chili Barber boxing away next to Good as well. So it wasn't a bad effort from him. He's getting very close to a class drop now, though, as Chili Barber too.
He is indeed. He's been racing over all sorts of distances all season. Circuit Fiery, Tom running second last time. This is a race won by Ruby Lottie. Was beaten 3 3/4. Zach stays on board. And he was good in a trial. He was held up to the 200 metre mark and sharp when getting out late behind XL Wong Choi.
Yeah, who was a bit disappointing on that Wednesday night. But this horse here, by Tavistock, you'd think up to 1600 metres should suit him. We do see quite often, though, horses going from 14 to 1600 for that first time. They just don't quite see out the trip. But look, I'll throw him in here. He's going well. He's certainly improved in his last couple of runs for Benno Jung. He's drawn barrier 7 here off a good trial you mentioned.
On to poor old Joyful Prosperity, who's going so consistently but keeps finding one to roll him. He looked home in this race. This was going to be his night where he won until Jumbo Legend dropped upon the scene late to beat him by a neck. Northern Beast, his win was in Class 5. His trial since where he sat wide was quite good.
It certainly was. So he's not without a chance here. Of course, he got down to Class 5 and won. Joyful Prosperity pretty much had it everywhere bar the last hop, and then Jumbo Legend was there to mug him late. Of course, 2 Infinities come out of that race, and since 1 didn't, of course, win on Wednesday night. But barrier 8 for him, I didn't quite get him in this time.
What about California Totality, Tom? He is racing well, but did miss that start on the 20th of April. Wider draw 2. He's won 2 from 3 course and distance, but they've been from gates 7 and gate 3.
Good trial here. He's the one to beat. He beat a couple of Francis Lloyd runners here in this barrier trial. Cruised up on the inside there. Last start he stalked the pace and peeled wider before the home turn, and went on to win by 3/4 over Laugh Tail. So I think he can win again as long as he behaves himself in the gates. The trial looked good, and he was due to be pretty much favourite last time when he was due to be sent out too.
So it's Abdullah and Cruz to win race number 8.
It is number 2 with California Totality on top ahead of number 5, and that is Daring Pursuit. Now he stayed on wider behind Beauty Glory last time out. He's got barrier 1, Circuit Fiery the other one, and Talent's Ambition has won a trial over 1650 on the all-weather at Sha Tin. Barrier 14 not ideal, but if he gets a good tempo to aim at, I'd be expecting him to be running on at the end. 2, 5, 8 and 4.
California Totality, race 8, number 2 for Tom to win the first leg of the late treble. Race number 9, Class 3 race, and we run it over the 1200 metres. We've got Little Bros, cheek pieces off, tongue tie on. He's had one start. That was the Group 1 Chairman's Sprint Prize since arriving in Hong Kong. Solid Impact has won 2 from his last 3. Prestige Always on debut. He won 1 prior to arriving. That was at Galway over the 1400. Phoenix Light is a 4-time course and distance winner. Pulsar Strider first up from January. Call Me Glorious has the tongue tie off. Wider draw for Happy Day. And Beauty Missile has placed 2 from 3 over the 1200 around Sha Tin. Campione's going to hold out Call Me Glorious on the speed map.
He's so out of form at the moment as Campione. Barrier 4, Angus Chung, 714 days since he's won. Call Me Glorious wasn't the quickest out last time out, and in the end just peaked on his run over the final stages after they hunted him forward. He's been back to the trial since. Pulsar Strider always, rather Prestige always won't be too far away. He was an on-pace runner prior to arriving. Phoenix Light back with Beauty Missile. Happy Day winning icy, drawn a little awkwardly for this.
Phoenix Light knocked off a hot field last time. Andrea Atzani with Nick.
Andrea, it's another big day of racing coming up, of course, and you've got an involvement in the Group 1, but on your rides on the undercard, race 9, you've got Phoenix Light, who won last time. He sort of let down strongly for you, and it was a pretty good win in the end.
100%. It was obviously, it was up in class, in the Class 3 level, and, you know, on a wet track, which obviously likes. He jumped okay. I was a little bit further back than I expected to be, but he finished off quite strongly and he hit the line quite nicely. He even dropped me past the line. He came back on his own, but that was a nice winner.
Well, yeah, no, we forgive him that. Just watching the head-on, went back and had a look at the head-on. The runner-up sort of carried you off a straight course as well, didn't he? So, yeah, they were trying to make it hard for you, but you still had enough horse underneath you.
Yeah, no, the horse in front of me just slightly came across, but I had some sort of momentum going, and once he got rolling, I was always quite comfortable I was going to get on top.
As you say, he's gone up in grade, he's won, he has had previous in this sort of company as well. His form, Andrea, looks pretty strong. I mean, full credit ran 3rd in that race last time out. He's won since, and he's also got the beating of Awesome Treasure 3 starts ago, who's won recently. So on paper, his form's rock solid and potentially the one they've got to beat, really. Yeah,
he's obviously gone up £7 since his last winner. We probably could have done with a better draw. We drawn 12, which is it's never a deal. But hopefully we get a wet track, which it looks like, there's rain forecast all week, and he seems to enjoy getting his toe in, and I can see him finishing strong again. Hopefully we can get on top.
Yeah, he's obviously racing very well. I mentioned at the start of the interview, obviously it is a Group 1 day. You've got a ride on Senor Toba. I know you probably don't know a great deal about him, but nice to be involved. And I guess on his best form, he's not without some sort of chance of making the frame, is he?
Yeah, he's another one that he has run well on cutting the ground, so the ground won't be an issue with him. He obviously was a little bit disappointed the last day for some reason, and obviously Casper trialled him since, and I rode him, and we just wanted to find out whether we actually, he was still there for us, and he trialled quite well. And I rode him yesterday morning, and his action seems to be good. He seems happy with himself, so we'll have another go. And listen, we were under no illusions, but it's a horse you can ride with, with no pressure, and hopefully we'll give him a chance and pick up some pieces. And listen, never know. It's never. This Group 1 races a lot could happen.
And just finally, obviously, the fact that Newmarket's your adopted home, you'd have a fairly decent handle on a horse like Rebel's Romance. To have him here, I mean, that's certainly going to make it that bit tougher, of course. I mean, he's pretty smart, isn't he? Oh,
he's a very good horse. He's sure that, he's a horse that can travel. He's obviously won in Qatar, he won in the Breeders' Cup, and, he won in Dubai, and I think he won in Germany. So it's a very versatile horse, and obviously the way he's been racing lately too is a horse that he won making and running. He won the Shima Classes sitting close to the pace. He has won from off the pace before, so he's a horse that looks very adaptable. I'm not sure if depends how much rain we're going to get, what the track is going to be like, but on form he's the class horse in the race.
From Andrea, Tom, we head to Solid Impact, who is certainly racing well. He's a last start winner. He carries an extra £6 for it. Call Me Glorious, he ends up running 4th. He went off favourite in this race. Another one to come out of the replay is Prawns 11, who's run 7th, but he's raced quite okay since. Can Call Me Glorious bounce back here?
I think he can. I think he really can. Call Me Glorious. Of course, he was beaten at a short price last time. He got in as much as 1.4. What happened was he missed the start, and then he was hunted forward, and then he got trapped wide, and you can just see he peaked on his run here over the final stages. The ideal thing was probably just settling back with him and just letting the race unfold and let him run home, but they opted to drive him forward. Hopefully he jumps cleanly. I think he's definitely the horse to beat. Solid Impact was good there as well along the inside, and you mentioned Prawns 11. He ran home pretty well in a race that wasn't run to suit last time.
Yeah, he was held up till about the 200 metre mark in that race. Prawns 11 to Chungfa now. Little Bros. Being hard to get a gauge on him because just has form behind Invincible Sage. There he is getting to the outside, runs on strongly in this trial, and the leader is Victor the winner.
Yes, Group 1 winner there. Chickpeas are coming off with the Little Bros. Tongue tie going on. Of course, he a good race winner over in Australia prior to arriving. You know, one of those really deep diving pools. It's about 5 metres. That's what he was chucked into last time out in the Chairman's Sprint Prize. So he's run well here in this trial. I'm going to put him in with a good draw. I think he's got his sort of place here at the top of Class 3 at the moment.
Paddle pool's better than diving pool this week for him. And what about Prestige Always? Tommy was known as Mythology when trained by Joseph O'Brien. Has had 5 career starts before his Hong Kong debut and 6 trials since he's been here.
Yeah, trials have been okay. Won one up here at Chungfa recently. He was away cleanly. I think he drew barrier 9 up towards the outside. Went forward, raced up on the pace. That's him in the club's colours there with the purple cap, and stayed on. Does worry me a little though. He had heavy track win at the Curragh. He's not going to get that this weekend, no doubt. And he also had some French 2-year-old form as well.
All right, so on that, he's not going in.
No, I'm just happy to watch this time round. French 2-year-old form with a 5-horse field. I'll go with number 9, and that, of course, is Call Me Glorious. He's the one to beat. Prawns 11 off a good run last time out despite being held up. Little Bros and a Solid Impact. He's been going well. He's won 2 of his last 3. 9, 7, 1 and 3.
And Tom going with a big day for Zach Purton. He rides Call Me Glorious, the on-top selection in race number 9. And the final race on Champions and Che today is race number 10. It's the River Verdon handicap. You can go and visit River Verdon. He's still in the museum at Happy Valley if you want to go and see him. Blue Marlin is on the class drop. He's a 5-time course and distance winner. Galaxy Witness has the blinkers going back on. Top Gun's 1-4-1 since arriving in Hong Kong. Carries the same weight in this extended rating class 3. Superb Kid, cheek pieces off, blinkers go on. Ruby Lot comes up in grade. Beauty Fit, he is a 2-time course and distance winner, and Winning Data comes up with barrier number 14. Who leads it here? Tom, it's Top Gun to the front.
Yeah, he was very good last time out. Jumped from that wide stall, went straight to the front and crossed them. Torby and Prince should get a more economical run here. He alternately is the leader here in this race if Top Gun isn't going to take up that role. Huge Wave goes forward. Beauty Fit drawn awkwardly here. He's another one that can race handy. Northern Beaches. Supreme Agility, a newcomer. Blue Marlin no doubt has to go back again from his awkward wide stall.
We can find out more about Blue Marlin right now because here is Nick with his rider, Hugh Bowman.
Hugh, big day of racing coming up here at Sha Tin on Sunday. You've got some very nice rides. One of them comes up in the last, Blue Marlin, a horse you've only ever ridden the once, but that was a winning ride. You must be looking forward to getting back on him.
Yeah, I am, Nick, and he's a horse. He's a model of consistency. He's got to contend with another wide draw though, which is not ideal. However, he does appreciate the drop in class, which is quite a decent drop. So, look, he's racing well. He's had a fantastic season, and it'd be nice to see him finish on a top note.
You mentioned that drop in class, of course. I mean, Dougie's probably found a really nice race for him because it's one of those extended racing bands. So, on his last couple of Class 2 performances, and he might just have 1 or 2 of these covered.
Yeah, I would have thought so. Hopefully he's got them all covered, but we'll wait and see.
You mentioned the barrier, of course. Never easy when you're drawn wide. When you won on him, you were drawn 4, but he has got the talent and the ability to overcome those draws if he gets that bit of luck, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, he's quite a big horse. He's got a big stride, and although his best wins are when he is bottled up, I think he's a horse that probably appreciates a bit of room. So it's just about managing the pace, and look, he's got the talent. He's a big enough horse to carry the big weight, and I think the most significant ingredient here is the dropping class.
It certainly is, and I guess another ingredient to throw into the mix also will be the ground. Obviously, a bit made of the weather this week. Naturally, there has been a bit of rain, but he doesn't mind it with a bit of sting out the surface.
No, he's performed on all grounds. He's performed very well on really firm decks, and he's won on rain-affected ground. So I know who will appreciate some rain is Russian Emperor. So let's hope it stays around.
Leads me nicely on to one final question, if I may. Obviously, with him, just a line on him. I spoke to Douglas White about him. He was talking him up as if he was in very good form, which he looks for sure. What do you make of the race now that you've seen it on paper and the draws, etc., etc.?
Well, I mean, it's an interesting field. Obviously, the horse from the UK adds a bit of spice to the race, some international flavour, so and some class. So there's no doubt about that. So we're going in. The horse is in great order. I was more than satisfied with his run here in the lead up. I actually think he felt better this year than he did in the lead up to this race last year. So having had the opportunity to work a bit more with the horse, getting to know him a bit better now than I did this time last year, it's been we're going to the race with confidence, but under no illusion of where we sit in the pecking order. But I think if he gets a nice smooth run and the race is run at an even pace, then he'll certainly put his best foot forward.
Hugh Bowman there, Blue Marlin and Russian Emperor the focus. Time we move on to the start of the race won by Top Gun last time. Sunlight Power missed the start. Beauty Fit must have a direct line of sight to Tony Speechley's finger the way he jumps out of the gates.
He's always so fast out, isn't he? And this week he'd want to be fast again. If he is fast, he could maybe get into a good spot, but it's looking a little tricky from his draw this week. Is Beauty Fit Barry at number 9. He was probably a little bit keen in the run here. Just worth highlighting the run that Top Gun got. Once he found the front, he basically relaxed and had his head on his chest and was able to kick strongly. Beauty Fit behind him here. Northern Beaches just wanted to keep Beauty Fit in a bit of a pocket rounding the home turn there. A bit of hip and shoulder between those two, but once Beauty Fit got clear, he finished off quite okay over the final stages. Beauty Crescent I thought was a little disappointing in this race. It was run on a yielding track, so whether he didn't totally enjoy those conditions, that horse to his inside, of course, Sunlight Power has come out and placed since, but there was a lot to like about this performance of Top Gun. Barrier 2 should get all favours here.
That is a good report for Top Gun to make it 2 starts for 2 wins. On we go now to Torby and Prince winning at Sha Tin. It's a track we've only seen him at 4 times, including this victory. There he is on the outside turning for home. The form is good because that is satirical glory to his inside. That is Glory or Fan? Anyway, they've both won since. Yep. And Superb Kid's very, very consistent.
Yeah, he is a very consistent, Superb Kid. And so he had a bit of a tough run through the early stages here. Torby and Prince was able to get up outside the leader and kick on strongly and win. Superb Kid dug in deep late, but just came up short. So definitely got both of these two gallopers in. The blinkers are going on for the first time. The cheek pieces have been removed off Superb Kid, and Lyle Hewitson rides.
Ruby Lott comes back up in grade. He has raced in this class before. He's placed 2 from 3 in it, but this is a last start win over the 1400. His first look at the distance, and he was too good for Circuit Fiery, who runs earlier in the program.
Goes up 9 points in the handicap here. It does Ruby Lott, stepping into a class 3 once again, where he hasn't done a great deal so far. He's had a couple of placings, but never been able to get his nose in front. He's up for start number 11, so he's still relatively lightly tried and just a 3-year-old, but like the way he dug in here after Geneva over the last 150 or so and put the race well and truly beyond doubt to Ruby Lott. So he definitely goes in, just hasn't quite got his nose in front in this grade just yet.
Last race is always a good race, and Sunday is no exception.
Certainly isn't. Top Gun goes on top from a good draw this time round. He had a commanding victory last time out when he was able to find the front from that wide draw and to win and dictate there. Superb Kid's in. Blue Marlin again drawn awkwardly. He can never get too much luck with the draws. When he draws out, he does struggle to win. Blue Marlin and Ruby Lott, the other one that makes it in. 4, 7, 1 and 10.
And they are Tom's selections for the last of 10 on Champions and Chater Day. It is a Group 1 race day. There are 10 races. A reminder, an earlier start time of 12:45 with all 10 on the turf on the A course.